Today is the 14th, the 15th, the full moon day, and today is the final full moon for the Tibetan calendar year of 2149. So, therefore, I thought that we should complete this text today, since there isn't a lot of terms today to discuss, as well as most of the explanations are quite simple for today's text, and also felt that it would be very auspicious. Plus, we can have an extra class, which will be the 8th class, in which we can do a little bit of summary, and then if anyone has questions related to what we had covered, that is the Heart Sutra. In terms of grammatical rules, we have covered it, and so if anyone has questions in that regard, we can do that on the 8th class. Today, our final portion of the Heart Sutra will be Buddha arising from the deep meditative contemplation, absorption from the deep samadhi, and then finally, most auspiciously, concluding everything, meaning, in a sense, giving an approval to the argument between Arya Avalokiteshvara and the Ayushmat Shariputra. So this is the final portion. Most of the important portion when it comes to contemplation and to self-practice has already been covered in previous classes, during the previous classes. So now it's an auspicious completion done by Buddha as he awakes from his deep samadhi, from his deep meditative absorption. So this will be the portion of today's class, and so and also the completion of the Heart Sutra. So after which, for the as a symbolism of auspiciousness, I will recite the Heart Sutra in Tibetan, the whole Heart Sutra in Tibetan. So, okay. So before we begin the lesson, I have 2 verses written as a dedication to two of the 8 near sons. We have already dedicated 4 verses to the 4 near sons, the Arya Avalokiteshvara, Arya Manjushri, Arya Vajrapani, and Arya Maitreya. So today we are dedicating 1 verse to Arya Shittigarbha, and then one to Arya Akashagarbha. So 2 of the near sons. And then, first, the verse of dedication. So this is a single verse of dedication. So we begin with a single verse of dedication. And the translation will be there with the PDF that is being sent with the video recording of the class, as well as the audio and the class chat in the channel, in the class channel. So, I prostrate to the Buddhas of 3 times. So this is the verse of dedication. Okay. The first one is a verse dedicated to Shittigarbha. In Tibetan, it's Pawasa Ningbo, and the translation will be provided later. Malutoa Gungi Kebgu Sai Ningbo Sada Luta Yula Rabdu Shishintul Sange Tuki Nozi Kese Nyawarta Pawasa Ningbo Peme Shablatu. So this means Malu means not even not even one sentient being left behind, meaning that not even a single sentient being that is left behind considers you to be the protector and the Lord of all the sentient beings, O Shiti Garba. Shiti, which means the earth, Garba means the essence, so the essence of earth. Sada lutan yula rabtu shishintul. So conquering the so Sada can be understood as the Lord of the lands, meaning that those spiritual beings, these are somewhat somewhat of a some of these are very lower tier of gods. In some cases, these are wandering spirits who have somewhat captured a certain type of land in a way that they look after the land. So it's like a original spirit or original deity. Not so somewhat like that. So sometimes these are very low tier gods. Sometimes these may not be a god but a wandering spirit. So Lu means Naga. It's so they are the higher tier of beast. Some of them are capable of having a human interaction, meaning they are capable of human communication, having a higher intellectual capacity than most of the beasts meaning animals, so they belong to the category of animal, but they are on the higher tier of animals. And then we have Yula, which is the original deity. These are the original deity, the lower tier deity. These are all deities. These are some of these could be mountain deity. Some of these could be a particular tribe, a deity that is being worshipped by a particular tribe or clan. So we have these things called clan deity or Kula Devta. So some of these are also considered here. So Shishindul means conquering or taming all of them peacefully, not wrathfully, but peacefully. So because of sometimes so this is something that has to do more with the hidden prospect of hidden prospect rather than things which are logical and directly perceived. These are more hidden prospect. So sometimes what happens is that when there is disharmony, and sometimes some of these deity they get angry. What happens is that the land loses fertility. Sometimes the water floods. There is a flood. There are floods. Sometimes some natural disaster. Sometimes unexplainable death could occur. So therefore, Shiti Garba, who took the form of one of the 8 near sons, tame or conquers them all, and all of their disastrous actions. The heart treasure of Buddha and one of the near sons. I prostrate to your lotus feet, O Bodhisattva, Arya, Shitikarba. Okay, so this is the verse dedicated to Bodhisattva Shitikarba. Now the second one is a verse dedicated to Bodhisattva Akashakarba. Mali draw Gungi Kyabke Namke Ningbo. On drawer turn nam chisam beme lundu bell. Namna sangi nila gazel chodutse. Papa namka and I'm keningbo. Papa nam keningbo. Just Papa nam keningbo. Ningbe bema shablatu. So, not even one sentient being left behind. You are the protector and the Lord of all the sentient beings, O Akashakarba. whatever this may the sentient being desire or aspire to manifest by your blessing, everything happens without any obstacles. You who have taken the form of the Akasha Bhugarbha after Buddha was instructed so. I prostrate to your lotus feet, O Akasha Garbha. So this is a verse dedicated to Akasha Garbha. Okay, now with this, with this as a sign of auspiciousness, let us begin the last portion of the Heart Sutra. Okay, so now that we have already, understood after the final, during the last class, we understood that Arya Avalokiteshvara was telling the Ayushmat Shariputra about this wonderful knowledge, that great knowledge, and also the reason why it is a great knowledge by providing it above, saying that all the bodhisattvas also by having faith in this transcendent wisdom attains the unsurpassable state. Similarly, all the Buddhas of the three times having faith in this transcendent wisdom have attained the unsurpassable state. And because of this reason, this very knowledge is a great knowledge. It's not a lie, therefore it is a truth. And this is a knowledge which is unsurpassable. This is a knowledge that is applicable to make someone unsurpassable. And so this knowledge, which is the knowledge of transcendent wisdom, and it was, and finally, the mantra was that yatha kate kate par parsam kate poti soha. So that was the portion that we did last time. So till this point, Arya Avalokiteshvara has shown the great knowledge through which one can transcend to the unsurpassable state. And this is done by deep contemplation over the phenomena being self and phenomena being empty of intrinsic nature. So this was done before, when Arya Avalokiteshvara began from the five aggregates and then went on until the Four Noble Truth, wisdom, accumulation of wisdom, non-accumulation of wisdom. So till that point, that was it. So today is just a simple conclusion. So after that, now that Arya Avalokiteshvara has stated everything, now the Buddha Shakyamuni arises from the deep contemplation, deep meditative absorption. So Sharipu Chanju Semba Chempo Tetar Sharab Geparo to Chempa Samola Lapar Chow. So Sharipu, which is Ayushmat Shariputra. So as which was shown or taught by the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, you shall practice it accordingly. The practice of the transcendent wisdom. And then, as it was said, and then the so then the thing is intelligente. Chanju semba chempe. Power chene si wonchula lexo she chauchi. So in this case, there is the usage of the particle of third grammatical case. So we must understand that there are two agents here. The first one is the Bodhisattva Mahasattva. The second one is Arya Avalokiteshvara. So since in that vicinity, there are only two who could be addressed as Bodhisattva Mahasattva, one being Arya Avalokiteshvara, other being the Buddha. So Buddha. So here we see that one agent is Buddha, the other agent is Arya Avalokiteshvara. So the Bodhisattva Mahasattva said to Arya, so giving an approval. So in a manner of approval, he said, good. So the entire discussion that was between the Ayushmat Shariputra and the Arya Avalokiteshvara on the deep contemplation of the emptiness of intrinsic nature of self and phenomena was thus approved by Buddha, saying that good. So the very word here, as you see, lekso she chawachin. So lekso itself is sadhu. So it is sadhu karmadat, which means to give approval, saying good. So the term in Sanskrit is sadhu karmadat. So to give approval, saying that this is good. So therefore, Buddha, after arising from the deep contemplation, meditative absorption, he said, saying that to the Arya Avalokiteshvara, good, meaning that the dialogue, the exchange of dialogue has been most auspiciously, most wonderfully been completed here. So saying good, giving an approval that it was a good exchange of dialogue between Arya Avalokiteshvara and Ayushmat Shariputra. So the word lekso means sadhu, which means well done or good. So another example of such usage would be sadhu upyog. Upyog means to use. Sadhu means good. So good usage. Sadhu upyog. So one example of usage of sadhu, which with another word. So here it is said good, but in a way that one is giving approval, saying that you have done good, or in a way saying like well done. So when someone does something good, we say well done. So here we see the after arising from the meditative absorption, thing is which we already discussed, means samadhi or deep meditative absorption or meditative absorption in English. So here, when we talk about Bodhisattva Mahasattva, we refer it to the Buddha. In the context before, when we were talking, when we were referring as Bodhisattva Mahasattva, it was the Arya Avalokiteshvara. In here, it is the Buddha. As we see that there is two agents here. And this could be understood by the usage of the particle of third grammatical case here. And this is the subject case. This is not reasoning case. This is subject case. How do I know this is a subject case? Because I see that there is one agent before this, and then there is another agent after this. Not only that, the second agent is more or less not a compulsory component of this particular statement. But the action, which is lekso shechawa chin, which is an action. So since this is an action, and we have the subject of this action here, this becomes the subject case. And so we see that there are two subjects. It is not possible for an action to be done in action for an action that must be done from us, for an action to be done by a subject upon itself, when it is an action that is usually done by a subject on another subject. Until and unless there is an indication that the action is done to self by the usage of the word ni, like we already, like in previous classes, I think we have talked about it, the word ni. If this indication of this particular word is there, then definitely both of the subjects are the same. Otherwise, the subjects are different. Subject, agent, doer are different. So in this particular case, we see that there are two agents. The first one now being addressed as the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, the second one being the Arya Avalokiteshvara. And we understand this because of this context, because it states that Chomdente, which means Bhagavan or Bhagavat, the term Chomdente, we already discussed that during the first first lesson, that in which we encountered the word Bhagwati, which refers to the female gender or the female word for the word Bhagwat, Chomdentema. We have Chomdentema, which means Bhagwati, which is referring to the Pragya Paramita, the great mother Pragya Paramita. Here it is Chomdente, which refers to Buddha Shakyamuni, Bhagwat or Bhagavana. So after this, as Bhagavana or Bhagwat arises from the deep contemplation, he states to the Arya Avalokiteshvara and gives an approval, saying, "Well done." So it's an approval to both. So it's an approval that states directly here to the Arya Avalokiteshvara, but in whole, it is an approval saying good to both Arya Avalokiteshvara and Shariputra in the dialogue. But here, mainly subjected to Arya Avalokiteshvara, because the main teaching, the main essence of the transcendent wisdom was in here was expounded by Arya Avalokiteshvara. So, by saying that, he said, Lekso, Lekso. So, Lekso means sadhu, which means well done, well done. Rikipu, meaning the son of the clan, or the son with the noble merits. So when we talk about noble merits, we refer to the to those who have within them arisen the direct perception of emptiness. So that is the factor that determines one to be a noble, a son with a noble merit. Son, because in this case we're talking about Bodhisattva. So tete shinte, rikipo tete shinte, rikipo tete shinte, tete shinno, which means so be it. So be it. And Eva metat tete shinno, and similarly tete shinte, which is similar to this, which also means as it is or so as it is, and so be it in this way. And we see Chitar Kuiki Tempa Shinto Shiraki Parutu Chimpa Samola Chipa Chate Tinsha Wanamke Jesu Yanamo. That is now here it is said by the Buddha to Arya Avalokiteshvara that Chitar means in the similar manner that you have shown here the essence of the transcendent wisdom, the profound. So the method or the manner of deep contemplation of the transcendent wisdom Teshin. Similarly, so here Teshin Shepa means to transcend by doing similarly as they have done, meaning the Tathagats. So Teshin Shepa, the term Teshin Shepa means Tathagata or Tathagat or Tathagata. They too admire. So the word admire, by showing or by depicting the manner or methods of the deep contemplation on the transcendent wisdom, the Tathagats also have great admiration for this. So even the Tathagats, so like we said, and the reason why the Tathagats have deep admiration for this is because the Tathagats have also transcended to the unsurpassable state by having faith and belief, trusting the wisdom of the great wisdom of transcendent wisdom. And that is why even the Tathagats have great admiration for this. So this is the reason why they have great admiration. So they have great admiration for this. So we have the word Teshin Shepa, Tathagat. So the word Tathagat, the one who transcends in the similar way, which means when we talk about the similar way, we must understand that it must encompass the understanding of the way as understanding the wisdom pertaining emptiness, the transcendent wisdom, and then to have the noble mind of the bodhisattva, the bodhicitta. So in that way, one will attain the unsurpassable state, because as we know, according to the text by Lama Tsongkhapa, which is the 3 aspects of path, he emphasized greatly on these 3 aspects and the compulsory, and for all these 3 paths to be compulsory in attaining the unsurpassable state. The first one is the firm renunciation, second one is the bodhicitta, third one is the wisdom pertaining emptiness. And without one of them, meaning after the renunciation, without either the bodhicitta or the wisdom pertaining emptiness, one has still not attained the unsurpassable state. So therefore, even the bodhisattvas who have bodhicitta within them, but have not accumulated or have not seen the emptiness directly, that is during the path of aspiration, where they have the path of faith, where they have faith and aspirations towards the transcendent wisdom, but they have not attained it. So in that particular path, one is still understood as being in the path of faith or path of aspiration. Only when they go beyond the path of seeing that they truly are the ones who are capable of seeing the actual path, actual reality of things. That is the ultimate reality with direct perception. So therefore, without each of these paths, one cannot attain the complete enlightenment. Therefore, when we say in this manner or in this way, one must understand through the union of the bodhicitta and the wisdom pertaining emptiness, the method and the wisdom. because so not going too much in this, so just going to say something that was told to me by my teacher. So it's said that one who has great wisdom but do not have compassion towards the animal, they will use the particular wisdom in a way that would only fulfill one's self-centered needs, thus negating anything that to be understood as consideration for others. And so the result is someone with great, because one who has great wisdom but no compassion, in a way becomes very arrogant in their manner. And so they neglect the common decency of consideration towards other sentient being. One who has the compassion but do not have the method, they sometimes help others, but what happens is that those kind of help sometimes cause more trouble than help. And in some cases, they are incapable of helping others. They're not able to help others, but in a way cause more complications because they do not have the required wisdom. So, okay, now going to the second word, that is jesuira, which is anumodia, which means admire. To admire when someone is doing something. So this is, I don't recall the exact name of the sutra, but this is something that that tells us why admiring someone's virtue is important. So this is a small story. So once it was in most probably it was in the land of the Rajgiri. So the story goes like this. So the land of the king of that particular kingdom was a very generous king, especially when it comes to offering to the bhikshus. And he would organize great teaching sermons for the people by requesting Buddha for the sermon, and then he would sponsor all the expenditure that was taking place during the sermons. And then not only that, he was offering great materialistic things to Buddha. So one day what happened is that there was this question that was asked to Buddha by one of the citizens. The question was, Buddha, who is the one that has accumulated the most merits in this kingdom? And everyone thought that the answer would be the king, because the king was always doing great virtue by offering and doing the offerings and everything. And everyone thought that definitely it would be the king. But he said that no, who has the greatest merit in the kingdom is the old lady beggar who sits in front of the gate of the palace. So the citizens were shocked. They were shocked. They said, oh, this old beggar, she has nothing to offer. She has never offered anything. How could such an old beggar, who is neither able to provide service by physical labor nor able to provide any materialistic offering to the Buddha, have such great accumulation? Surely Buddha must be joking. But then Buddha said, this is the truth, because this comes from the practice of admiration for other people's virtue. Because once you admire someone else's virtue, what happens is that you yourself have the aspiration to do the same. So you have the virtue for not only admiring one's action, which has the equal virtue, that of the one who's making the offering, upon that, you also have the virtue of aspiring to do that. So arising the intention. So therefore, by this, we understand that admiration is, which is in Tibetan, it's called Jesuirang, admiration for one's virtue. Whenever we see someone doing great virtue, and there may be times when we're capable of doing similar to that, sometimes we're incapable of doing such type of action because of different circumstance. But in those cases, if one admires that particular action, one is capable of acquiring, amassing, accumulating great merits. So admire. Jesuira. So the Tathagatas of 3 times, all the Tathagatas have great admiration for what? For this wonderful teaching that was shown. The teaching of the method of deep contemplation on the transcendent wisdom by Avalokiteshvara, Arya Avalokiteshvara, is greatly admired by all the Tathagatas. And so by saying this, so this is a particular word, Katsil, which is used only, the word ka is used when it comes to speaking, only is used with Buddha in the Sutra. Ka, which means to speak, to utter. So in a word to mean to speak or utter. So spoke here, because it's the past tense. Katsel, vacho, which means spoke. Honorifics used only for Buddha. So this is an honorific. Normally we use the word je. This word is used if we want to say someone spoke. And this is used for everyone else but the Buddha. When someone has spoken, we say je. But for Buddha, we say katsel. So the meaning is the same. It means spoke, but the difference is between the one that is being addressed to. So katsel, dikeje katsene, meaning by having spoken this. So Bhagwana or Bhagwat, having spoken this. So after that, now this is the final portion where everyone in that vicinity have a great admiration for what the Buddha has said. So said that, so in this vicinity where there is Tsedatempa, which means Ayushmat. So let me see if so Ayushmat Shariputra Chensamba Chempo Pawachini Wonchu Arya Avalokiteshvara Tamje Datempa Korteta, which means the which we already introduced during the beginning of the at the beginning of the text, which was the Bhikshu of Mahasangha and the Bodhisattva of Mahasangha. So in the beginning, we said that in the Vulture Speak, where there was the gathering of the Bhikshus of Mahasangha and the Bodhisattva of Mahasangha. So that particular Sangha here, Tamjeda Dempa Korteta, the Mahasanghas of Bhikshu and Mahasanghas of Bodhisattva. And then, so these 3 are the higher realms. We have 6 realms, out of which the 3 higher realms. The first one is which is Deva or God. Second one is Hamayi. So Hamayi, which is Asura. So which is the negation here, Mayin, and Sura, which is the negation of the deity. Asura, demigod. And then the final of the three, which is the me, which is Manushya. Manushya, human being. So in the vicinity. And Tisa, which means Gandharva, the scent eater. So these are the scent eater, the gatekeeper, the gatekeepers, and the where's the Tisa? The Gandharva, the scent eater. Okay, and then these are not in the text, but I have just written it here because we have already introduced the three higher realm. So these are the three lower realm. The triyak, or the animal or beast, Ida, which is the preta, the hungry ghost, and Nyawa, which is Narakia, Naraka Narva, and Naraka Vasi. Vasi meaning it's the one who resides there. So hell beings. So those who are hell beings. Okay, so the hell beings, the ones who are in the hell. So these are the three lower realm, this one being the lowest, and then these three. So those who are interested, this will be posted there. And then most possibly we'll also, in the group, we'll also post the 18 different layers or stages of hell. So 18 different realms under the hell. So the last one being the unbearable. Okay, so in that vicinity, so the three higher realm and the Gandharva, the great Sangha of Bodhisattva, the great Sangha of Bhikshu, and Aryavalokita Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aryavalokiteshvara, and Ayushmat Sharipatra. And the entire samsara. They had a great day. They once again recited or joyfully shouted in great praise to what the Bhagavad Buddha Shakyamuni has said. And then finally, Pavashira Bhagavad, because this is something with an excellent quality, this Heart Sutra, Pavashira also. So, Iti Pragyaparamita Sutram Samaptam, which means here the text or the sutra of Pragyaparamita has most auspiciously been completed. Okay, so I think we have covered. So the final term is Chikde, which means Loka. There are 6 lok from Swarg, Asura, Manushya, and then there are the ones of the Preta, and then finally Narka, the hell. So 6 sentient beings. So these they reside in the world, which is known as Lok. Okay, so or Loka. So I think I have covered all the important terms in here. There's this term, Tatepu, Tuati, which it was difficult to find the translation in English. So we just, in most translation, it was not stated. So since we use the Hopkins and the Lokesh Chandra dictionary for the terms, both of these didn't have that. So, and also in the translation by Konze, which we are using as the basis for the English and the Sanskrit translation, for the English, it was not present there. So therefore, it is not discussed here. Okay, so with this, most auspiciously, we have completed the Heart Sutra very wonderfully. In the beginning, I was thinking if we would be able to finish it, but now with the final portion, which is Buddha arising from the deep contemplation, we have most auspiciously completed this. Okay, now before I recite the Heart Sutra or and the final verse of dedication, those who have questions regarding regarding today's lesson, please ask away. After this, I will be reciting the Heart Sutra in Tibetan, and if anyone wants to read the Heart Sutra in their own language, they're also welcome with great appreciation. Okay, so does anyone have questions regarding today's lesson? So this is the...
Yes, Ginla, may I ask about Gandharvas?
Yes.
Because
so the question is?
Yes. The question is in English translation, it is the being who eats feeds with the smell.
Yes.
But also, as I know, Gandharvas are beings of singing, cares about music and so on. So it's both correct or not?
Yes, both of these are correct. So the thing is that when we talk about when we talk about consumption, right, of food, there are 3 ways one can consume food. One is us who are dependent on the most gross food, like eating food like the things which are more gross. Then there are food which are consumed, like the pretas also, they consume the odor. That is the reason why we are offering the we call it sur, which is like an offering made in which we use the basis as we can use anything, something that burns, but most auspiciously, if possible, we might use the incense, which is made from herbal ingredient with a little bit of herbal medicine, and then on the top of which we put a combination of tsampa, the barley, then we have honey, then we have either you can use butter or milk, that is your own choice, and then you can either add jaggery or honey. You can either add jaggery or honey. So 3 of the ingredients are important. You can either add jaggery or you can add honey or sugar. Either of these 3 you can add. You have to use tsampa. You can either use butter or milk. So when you mix that, you have this combination. It's called karsum ngarsum. 3 white food and 3 sweet food. So mixed in there. So we offer this we offer this for many reasons. One is because the ones who have already passed away, they're unable to consume the gross food, so they also eat the smell and odor. Similarly, the preta, they do the same. So scent eater or odor eater refer to that particular way. And then the divine musical deity is also the same, the Gandharva, like I said, the gatekeepers. So these are deity, but in most form, they're quite menacing. When you look at their face, they're quite wrathful and menacing in appearance. And if more clarifications are required, then I will try to write something in the group. But I have been saying this and not being able to deliver so much, so I'm sometimes feeling very hesitant to say this. But I will answer as much as possible. If it is delayed, it will be answered eventually. So for the delay, I'm very sorry to anyone to whom I have promised to answer and have not delivered till now. I will be answering it, and most probably after we are finished with this particular course, then I will have a little time. Then I will write a little bit on that. So the second, thank you. Any more questions? And one small announcement: after the end of this course, which is the Dharma Vocabulary course, we will have a break for this particular course, only this particular course. That is, we have 2 parallel courses going. One is grammar, one is other, which is not grammar. So that particular course will be paused until so it's the 5th. So I would say most probably till the end of Losar. So by the end of Losar, we'll have a pause. So probably around 15 to 20 days, we will have a pause. And between that, there is the opportunity for you to send me the recording of the Heart Sutra in Tibetan and a language that you wish to recite it in. And after that, we're going to start another course, which is called the Tibetan Intermediate Reading course. So we have already covered the Tibetan basic reading course, in which we talked about how to pronounce the consonants, the vowels, the combination of them in a little bit. But in that course, we will cover the intermediate reading, meaning reading longer syllable, reading longer words, and reading a sentence not in single syllable manner, but in a portion. So this is something that we're also going to have. It is called the Tibetan Intermediate Reading course, and that particular course will be for 1 month. And after that, we will have something called Tibetan Intermediate Conversation course. That would be for a few months. But yeah, so this is so I will also provide somewhat of a schedule for the 2023 schedule for Heruka Institute. So I will be providing that in both of the groups. So those who are interested may register and join accordingly. Okay, so any more questions? Does anyone have more questions, either in the grammatical aspect or something that I have said in explanation? Any more questions? If there's no more questions, then I will.
Yes.
Yes, so?
Yes, Kenla. I have one question. The line from then deki deke ne. This sholoka, this tekang.
This line, yes.
This is like open, like how to say, open inverted comma, something like that, right?
You mean let me check. You mean the last line, right? This one, right? Katsel.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
The J. No, it's a J.
Yes. This one. This is a particle. This
usually this particle follows like a how to say, a dialogue, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But in front of it, from then this is not something that's spoken, right?
So this is because of the usage of this particle, dike. So dike, which means like that. So che usually is used for something. So we have the three particles, che, she, che and she, right? We have two particles, che and she. Both of these are, so che and she. Both of these are used when something has been said. So it says like this, something like this has been said. So here what happens is that we are using another particle here. Where is it? This one. Take it. So this is a particle that is this is a generalized particle. And in this case, it's a generalized particle in reference to a speech. And this is referring to this entire thing. So not having to state all of this, it has been represented by this small thing. Take it. Che katse. So che is referring to take it.
So they have the same function, is it?
Yes. So therefore, the function has not changed. The only thing that has changed is that now we have used a particle to represent an entire dialogue. That is it.
And the ki in front is not it's a delta and not a jeda.
So you mean ke sakata kata ke? Oh, you mean this one, right?
Mare ki.
The lasso. This
Yes.
is delta. This is delta.
And it's not a jeda because
it doesn't have sa.
And because it's like something is spoken, shouldn't it be a jeda?
So here
Because kazal is a chatik, right?
kazal is an action, right? So you say that because it's an action, and so this has to be a subject case, right? It has to be a subject case. Yes, in usual case, it has to be a subject case. But here, as we see that the sa is not present, sa is present. So this was a typographical mistake. So yes, this is cheta.
Is present?
Yes, it is present. So it was a typographical error in the text. So it is cheta.
Oh, okay.
Lasso.
And also, I have another question regarding the first class. The title. The title is the Prashna Paramita. No.
Yes, Hridaya Sutra.
Usually we just say that it's a Shirap Ki Parutu Chimpa Ningpo.
Yes.
Why do we omit the Chomden Dema?
Because it starts with Kyaga Ketu, which means in Indian Kyaga Ketu, Bhagwati. It starts with Bhagwati. So
usually when we refer to the Sutra, it's Bhagawati Prashna Paramita Hidaya.
Yes, so it's Bhagwati,
the full
right?
title.
Yes, since it is Bhagwati, so the term Bhagwati means Chomden Dema. Then we start with Pragya Paramita Hridaya Sutra, which means Shiraki Parutu Chimpe. Ningbo. And then the first volume, Pambochiko. Normally we go with the first volume, that is Pambochiko. So one single volume only.
Okay, because usually when we refer to the Sutra in Tibetan, we don't start with Chomden Dema Shiraki Parutu Chimpe Ningpo.
Yes.
It's either Shirap Ningpo or Shiraki Parutu Chimpe Ningpo.
Yes.
And usually we omit the Chomden Dema. I was wondering whether there's a special reason that we don't.
So this is just a abbreviation, like a short way of saying it. So similarly, like let me give you an example. Similarly, the in grammar we have a text which is called Sumchupa. So in the translation it is called Zawa Lungtempa Zawa Sumchupa Shechaso. Lungtempa Zawa Lungtempa Zawa Sumchupa Shecha or Shechawa Shechawa Shukso. So this is the actual translation of the Indian name, which is Vyakran Mulatimshat Namaha, in which we have the Indian name. So this is just the Indian the direct translation of the Indian term. But the name of text could be understood as Shirab Ningbo, the Heart Sutra, or Pragya Paramita Sutra. So
okay.
Lasso. Okay, so if anyone has questions, I will take one more question, and the rest I will answer it in the group. Otherwise, I will start reciting the text in Tibetan as a symbol of auspiciousness, because today is one very wonderful day. It's very auspicious as it is the last of full moon of the Tibetan year 2149. And then I was also told that it is the full moon, the first full moon of the Chinese New Year. So it's the first full moon of the Chinese year. So this particular year. So therefore, most auspicious. So, and then definitely, since we're all here and able to learn this text in context of terms, so it's already auspicious. Okay, so if there's no more questions, let me recite it. Lasso. Shirab Nimbu Shuso, Yagaketu, Bhagavati, Pragya Paramita, Shritaya Purketu, Jumden the Mashiraki Parati Chimbo, Chimbe Nimbo, Pombochiko, Tiki, Dagi Turba Twitchina, Jumden the Gavaka Chagi Puri, like Yongi, Kinduchambota, Chanju Sembe, Kinduchambota, Tubji to shoot it, Tate, Jumden the Somena, Shecha, Triggy, Namdrangi, Dingin, and Yamber Shuso. Yang Tate, Chanju Semba, Semba Chimba, Papa, Jenny, won't chew, Shiraki Paratu Chimba, some mutual, Nila, number, Tashin, Pumbo, Tedalaya, Rangshinki, Tomba number, Yang Tapar Jesu Tau. Then a Sangi two, Seta Demba, Shiri Pu, Chanju Semba, Semba Chimba, Papa, Jerry, won't chew, La, Digage Meso, Ricky Pu, Kang Lala, Shiraki Paratu Chimba, some mutual, but Jeper Jitala Barcha, Digage Mebatan, Chanju Semba, Semba Chimba, Papa, Jerry, won't chew, Ki, Seta Demba, Shiri. Tuatepula, Digage Meso, Sheripu, Ricky Pumokala, la Sheriki Porto Chimpa, some mutuba, Chebertuba te, the number Tawacha, the Pumbunga Poteta, Ranshinki Tomber, number Yanta or Jesu Tau, Su Tombo, Tomba Nisusu, Sulik and Tomba Nishema, Tomba Nilek and Sushe Maino, Tation to Sorwatan, Tushet, and number Shepanam Tombo, Sheripu, Teta Chutam Tomba Nite. Tseni meba, mageba, magaba, chima meba, chimadan chewa, chewa meba, kangwa meba, sheripu. Tedawe na tongba nila sume, sorwa me, dushe me, duche namme, number sheba me, ming me, nawa me, name, che me, lu me, yime, sume, drame, chime, rome, rekcha me, chume to. Miki kam meba ni yiki kam me, yiki number shebe kam ki parto yang me to. Marikpa seba meba ne, kashi me, kashi sebe parto ang, meto 대신 또 동아 왔다 군중 왔다 꼭 왔다 남매 이셰메 토바메 마토바야 메토 셔리부 대다웨나 전주셈바 남 토바메 비치 셔럽게 파르도 침발라 땡진네데 셈라 저바 매칭 트라바 메테 친지로레 신도 대변 양엘레 대변 타르친도 두순도 넘버 쇼페 상기 탐지 그냥 셔럽게 파르도 침발라 때넬라나 메바 양 탁버 조베 증주도 넘버 조버 상게소 대다웨나 셔럽게 파르도 침병 리과 침병 나나 메병 미냠바다 냠병 동아 탐지 랍도 시월 침병 민주연의 덴버셔버 차대 셔럽게 파르도 침병 메바 다야타 가데 파라 삼 가데 부디에 소하 다야타 가데 파라 삼 가데 부디에 소하 다야 Takate para some kataputia swa. Sheripu, Chanju Semba Chimpu, Tedar Sheraki Paru to Chimpa Samola Labarchao. Then a jumden de things it teleshente. Chanju Semba Chimpu, our Jeris Munchula Lexo, Shechawa Chine Lexo, Rikipo, Titation or Rikipo, Titation de, Jitar Kwiki Tempashin to Sheraki Paru to Chimpa Samola Jepachate, Tishin Shabanam ke Jesu Irang. Jumden de Gitige Chekats and etc. the Tempa Sheri Tateputa. Chanju Semba Chimba Power Jiri Simuchuta, Tamjin and Debe Quateta, Lada Mita Lamaita, Chesache Pechide Irate, Jumden de Gisumba Longomber to Power Shiraki Paru to Chimbe Nimbo, so. Okay, so with this, we have wonderfully completed the Heart Sutra in the context of vocabulary. And the last class, which will be held on Monday, which will be held on, it will be held on Wednesday. We will have that class, and during that class, we will have a summary of what we have learned till this point. So I will first divide the entire sutra in the portions that we have discussed with different division, and then talk about the individual division as I'll first talk about the individual division and then the whole sutra as a whole. Then after that, a little bit of question and answer session, and then we are done with the entire Dharma vocabulary course, the first Dharma vocabulary course that was provided by Heruka Institute, most wonderfully completed. Okay, then now before we end this, let me recite the verse of dedication here. We have the verse of dedication. This particular verse of dedication, I have made sure that today, instead of writing it by myself, I should recite something that was written by one of the great scholars of the land of snow, the Buddha of the land of snow, Lama Tsongkhapa, in his foundation, the foundation of all good qualities. So this is the dedication verse from that particular text. Those who are interested, please check the text. It only has around 14 verses. Okay, so the verse is by Lama Tsongkhapa. Kewa kundu yangda lama ta, chime chugi pela long chuji, sata lamgi yonde rapsone, lama chogi koban yo tosho. So a little bit modification here. In this particular verse, in the foundation of good qualities, it is stated doje changi koban yo tosho, which is the Vajratara, the essence of the secret practice. But here I have changed that to Lama, which is the Guru, which is non-dual, non-distinguishable, inseparable from the Vajratara and all the Buddha and Bodhisattva of 10 direction. So the first line, Kewa Gundu Yanda Lamatam, which means in every lifetime, from now till the completion of all the lifetime, that is attainment of complete enlightenment, besides my Guru, my perfect Guru, Teme means without being separated from my perfect Guru, may I be able to dwell in the practice of the most wonderful Dharma. Sa dalam gyundero, sa, which refers to the 14 grounds that we talked about, lam, which refers to the 5 path, yunderabzo means to completely accumulate the qualities and the wisdom of the 14 ground and the 5 path. May I too attain the most perfect state of my Guru, which is inseparable from the Vajratara and the Buddhas of 10 direction and 3 times. May soon I be able to attain the most perfect state of the Guru. And so with this dedication, we have most wonderfully completed the Heart Sutra. So we will end this class with the great auspiciousness. No need of the confession. So we ended with the great auspiciousness. That is, may all of us attain the state of the great Guru. And with this final line, I pray that all of us who have gathered here for the great cause of understanding the Pragyaparamita Sutra in terms of grammatical system, in terms of the terms, though none of this that I have taught is a deep understanding of this text, for I am incompetent in that way too. So, and this course doesn't talk about that particular aspect. So we have not dealt. So this, whatever you have learned from here, please understand that it is just a language class, a vocabulary class, a grammar class. Those who are willing to understand it greatly, please listen to the teaching of the living Buddha, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, whose speech is the most perfect, whose teachings are the most complete, and whose compassion is the most inclusive of all. So please listen to the teaching of the great Guru, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, to understand the meaning of these texts in the great depth, and to understand each and every practice that this text is talking about. This is the second turning of Wheel of Dharma. Before this came 3 Buddhas, but during those time, only 1 turning of Dharma was done. Wheel of Dharma was done. This particular Wheel of Dharma that was turned is considered auspicious because it was turned 3 times. And 3 turning of Dharma symbolizes establishment of the three gems, and the reference will be available in the Lalitva Sutra, in which chapter 25th, I think, which is the conclusion, where you will find this. So in that, you will be able to find this very reference that I am talking. Why it is so Lalita Vistara Sutra, in which chapter 25th of the conclusion, please check that if you're interested, in which you will see why the three turning of the wheels were so auspicious. And then chapter 24 of the turning of the wheels. So therefore, to understand this second turning of wheel of Dharma in the land of Rajgiri, on the Vulture Speak, where it was stated in the most excellent manner. And may all of us attain the most auspicious and excellent teaching of the Buddha, and may we all be able to continue learning, studying, and understanding. So wonderful. So sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So well done. And to everyone, with great rejoice, I thank you for joining these 7 weeks. And then next week we will be done with the course. I hope that it was beneficial to every one of you, as it was beneficial to me. With that, I hope everyone have a wonderful evening, morning, or afternoon, depending on where you are. And so thank you very much for joining the Heruka Institute's Dharma vocabulary class. I will see every one of you either for the grammar class tomorrow. We have a grammar class tomorrow, or I'll see every one of you on Wednesday for the last summary, in which, if possible, I'll try to recite the Heart Sutra in Hindi. If not, then I'll just most humbly apologize. So this I will be doing this so as to pay a great tribute towards the language that is derived from the Sanskrit. So the language in which Buddha gave the teaching, the entire teaching. So thank you very much, Tashitile, and I will see you tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Lasso.